Iran and Saudi Arabia have agreed to re-establish diplomatic relations after a 7-year interruption. They'll also resume trade and security relations and reopen their respective embassies within 2 months. The announcement came after discussions in China. Both sides have been quoted praising Beijing's role. The countries have had no formal ties since 2016, when Riyadh's embassy in Tehran was attacked following the Saudi execution of a Shia cleric. Well, Hassan El-Tayyab is a Legislative Director for Middle East Policy at Friends Committee on National Legislation, and he joins us now from Washington. Thank you very much for joining us. It's interesting that the Chinese have been the mediators in this, because usually we would associate the United States with sort of Middle East issues, particularly with Saudi Arabia.
Well, thank you so much for having me on to discuss this really crucial issue. And the relationship between Saudi Arabia and Iran has fluctuated over the decades, but as you mentioned at the top of the segment, has been really tense in recent years. And this recent agreement to normalize relations, mediated by China, is really a sea change in the Middle East. And through this move, China has demonstrated its ability to resolve conflicts impartially rather than relying solely on arms sales. On the contrary, the United States has had a habit of taking sides in conflicts, such as the war in Yemen, and as the region's largest weapons dealer. So some in Washington are probably sweating bullets right now, looking at China's increasing involvement in mediating these conflicts in the Middle East, and see more. But, I think really they should look at this as a positive development that we should all, welcome, because regional stability is good for the United States. It's good for the region, and it's obviously good for the whole world.
And in terms of regional stability, what kind of impact do you think this is going to have on the wider region?
Well, there's a lot of things at play, and we don't know how it's going to be. For China, this is about economic security. They have much to gain in securing oil and preventing, a wider conflict between Saudi Arabia and Iran. For Iran, they see this as a way to solidify their relationship with China as it deals with record inflation and as it deals with protests over its human rights abuses. Saudi Arabia's decision to normalize relations, maybe in its own interest for now, but it also might be an attempt to see if the United States is going to provide more security assistance and more guarantees to counter China's influence. But the United States really should not take the bait. Instead, they should take advantage of this opportunity to shift its approach in the Middle East away from hegemony, away from dominance, away from endless war, towards diplomacy, towards restraint, and towards supporting regional power sharing deals like the one we're seeing play out right now.
Okay, well, thank you very much for joining us, Hassan El-Tayyab.
Really appreciate it.